Okay.
Star Wars Inception, Chapter 21, First Blood. No German accents involved.
Or awful French ones.
We. There is always room for a bad German accent.
And I'm Slothgoven.
After successfully completing their mysterious mission, Malik, Europa, Tess, and Jaminos rejoin the New Republic resistance on their secret base. There, they meet with old friends and allies and plot their next move against the evil Supreme Leader Snoke and the First Order. Currently, a council has been called, and you are in a large conference room gathered around an assortment of holomaps. Presently speaking is Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. He addresses the gravity of your situation and offers a possible course of action. Of course, not everyone agrees with him. Present via Holo are representatives from Mandalore, Dathomir, and Hutt Space, and numerous other systems.
Whoa.
Love how they all loaded in like slowly.
So this thing like cuts in midway through the scene, and there's this council, and Luke Skywalker is basically the one speaking when the camera picks up. You guys have returned from that mission. Last time, you have a lot of questions. For some, and like deep down in your soul, you feel that something's changed within you, but you don't remember a lot of like what happened. You just like cerebrally, mentally, you remember seeing that giant monolith, and then next thing you know, it's kind of over with. So Luke says, it's clear that your destiny lies here, and with this alliance, and in this mission, says Luke as he addresses the assembled physical and virtual crowd. He looks down to his long estranged daughters and to Malik and his son. He looks to Jaminos and Europa. But the details, the means, and the way, he shakes his head. Always in motion. No, my powers have grown immensely, but I shall not command nor dictate nor make these decisions alone. Obviously, says a Hutt voice from the holo feed. A corpulent figure slurms on the monitor. No one is all-powerful, Master Skywalker. And the Hutts, I dare say, may not be inclined to believe that you are powerful at all. Another Hutt chimes in. Indeed, how did you let us get in this situation, Luke? While you hid out and avoided responsibility. Skywalker hesitates, looking at the Hutt on the video feed sternly. I will not explain now, it's complicated. Now Ben rises. You speak out of turn, Hutt, and pretend knowledge of things that are beyond you. Luke looks to Ben, his eyes narrowed. At this point, Carrick's Tib stands up. Our situation is dire, and we stand at the precipice of doom. Then a map appears, showing space controlled in total by the First Order in space where the NRR can move with some freedom. The elderly Admiral Akbar nods. The time for bickering is over. We must come together and realize our predicament. Any direct action against the First Order is doomed to failure, but how shall we proceed? Kirik's Tib, who now with his razor-sharp mind has begun some tutelage under Akbar, continues. He points. Thanks to our previous research and recovery of the ancient star maps and the recovery of ancient holocrons, we now know the location of certain points of interest. We also have a rough idea how the enemy has arrayed himself. The Supreme Leader is no fool. He knows we are a splinter and at this point, a source of infection. and thus he and his navy have attempted to wall us off and have adopted the doctrine of containment and annihilation. Kirix gestures to an area that glows red on the display. Here, the First Order continues to tighten its grasp, conquering and holding systems one by one and slowly draining our resources. But there is more. He gestures up to the hollow map again. Intelligence sources indicate the Order's Grand Admiral has fortified a position around Kessel and the Mall. Kirix looks toward Luke and Ben. We now know why this area is so important. He turns. We also know how we have fared against the Grand Admiral in the past. Akbar then chimes in. As much I would like to square off against Thrawn again, I realize he is our superior in nearly every way. His forces are superior, his positioning is advantageous, and he's a genius tactician. The Mon Calamari then shakes his head. No, any open assault on that sector would be folly. Then Kirix Tib continues. Though the First Order has infected nearly all the galaxy, there's another region our statisticians have noticed. There are new ships arriving constantly from this sector. After speaking with Master Skywalker and again consulting the holocron, we have reason to believe that this is the Supreme Master's stronghold, the legendary Star Forge. It is from here that he pulls the strings and conducts his evil war on the galaxy. Luke interrupts. And it is from here that he seeks to disrupt the cycle of the Force and gain the ultimate power only coveted by the Sith before him. Akbar says, the floor is open to discussion. And then, like, all around you, kind of like people start bickering, and as you bandy about, like, your next course of action and what you should do. Dead air.
I was just gonna let somebody else talk, but Malik is sitting there not speaking, listening to the others bicker, and he just waits for several moments, and then he stands up and raises his voice and then slams his fist down on the table before him and calls out, "Enough of this! Turn your attention forward." And he kind of shakes his head a little bit and says, "We must speak clearly and plainly and not argue." And Malik says, "We have two threats, it's clear. Thrawn and this Star Forge." He says, ignorant of what that is specifically. And he says, "I don't know anything about the Star Forge, but I could say this. If we can kill Thrawn, not by the use of our navy, then we can turn the tides." And he looks and he's like, "Perhaps we should send a small force, gain access to his ship, and well," and he kind of grimaces as Gray is next to him, and he's like, "assassinate him."
When Malik says that, Mox sort of ambles his way up beside him and volunteers for this mission that he speaks of.
Malik nods and he's like, "Yes, Mox would be perfect in this. Mox, maybe Europa." And he kind of just waits for anyone else, but those are the two he had in mind for sure.
Chiminos is kind of, he waits for everybody's like, you know, if there's assassination, I'm sure as hell going to be on this.
Well, Malik, you know, it'd be a shame to let you go off and die by yourself and all. She kind of stands there. One of her hips like goes, like she, you know, puts an arm on her hip and pushes it up and, you know, kind of does that stereotypical like black woman stance. And she's got like a shit-eating grin on her face, and she says, "And I'm probably the best the NRR's got." She just kind of shrugs her shoulders.
So Luke and Ben kind of look at each other with knowing glances, and they look at Kirix as well, who kind of gives a nod. And Luke says, because before Malik kind of stood forth, there was all this bickering, and no party wanted to take responsibility or decide anything. And Luke says, it seems a leader has emerged, as it was written in the stars. And he kind of continues and says, one thing is certain, the Supreme Leader is now beginning to fear us, but only if we work together. If he senses unity in his enemy and sees the mythic forces arrayed before him, hesitation will creep into his dark heart. We must give the impression of strength and violence of action, even if some of you are unsure of the course. He continues to think, and then kind of continues on and says, the Supreme Leader is ever fearful of losing his power. If he sees the Skywalker line coming for him directly, he may make foolish decisions. And then Ben kind of looks at Luke, and they say, a distraction then? And nods, and Luke says, yes, a distraction. If the Supreme Leader sees us coming straight for him, his eye may fall elsewhere.
And Jameis just kind of raises his hand. He's like, well, I don't know if you've actually heard much about Mandalorians, but we know how to make a big boom when we need to, and I believe my men can handle that.
So at some point during this discussion, interrupting you, a technician enters this room and whispers something to Akbar, and the Mon Calamari's face goes completely dark. He looks out across the room at Europa and then says to the technician, very well, play it. It's important we're all above board. She'll want to see this. Very well, Admiral, replies the tech. Amidst the conversation going on, the galaxy map is replaced by moving hollow images. A new report from the Inner Rim, says Akbar. You can see images of First Order stormtroopers rounding up white-haired citizens. You see buildings burning, ships landing, riots. While the world of Ishan has been known to be in collusion with the First Order for some time, the practical effect, perhaps tempered by the world's martial spirit, has been minimal, at least until now. Akbar frowns as he goes on. It appears that the planetary leadership has embraced the Supreme Leader's totalitarian ways. And this is what you get: collapse, suffering citizenry. The images then continue to play, and Akbar says, the system is beyond our help. There's little we can do for them now, but just keep Ishan in mind whenever you get a question about our cause and what we fight for. Listening, Luke Skywalker senses a mood change in the room when he looks at the ground.
Yeah, so maybe what you guys don't notice is all this is happening, and maybe the argument got all heated and stuff, and people were quiet now. But Europa was a little bit in the back of the room, and it's almost kind of like a weird scene for her. It's not often you see her teary-eyed, but she's almost distraught. She falls to her knees and is staring at the images, and she doesn't really know what it's almost kind of wordless and tearless, gasping. It's as if someone had murdered your puppy. And as best as I could put it, she looks just kind of lost. And the air of just raw hatred is pouring out of her at this point. For those of you who have been around it and know the Force, obviously, they could feel this veritable storm of just anguish.
So R4 kind of rolls over to Europa's side and kind of gives a kind of questioning beep, and kind of behind her as well, you can sense that Ben Solo has moved a little closer as well.
Yeah, I mean, she is like a Super Saiyan power leveling right now with like hatred. She is not okay.
Tess starts towards Europa and then sort of stops and is visibly shaken by the palpable hatred emanating from her.
Malik's completely clueless about everything based on the Force, so he sees Europa, but he doesn't react in that sort of way. He turns to Akbar and says, he's like, Admiral, how can we expect these planets to flock to our cause if we leave them suffering and dying at the hands of the First Order?
And like Europa just says, we're not gonna leave them. And she like stands up and like grips her fist, and she like just like shoulder checks Ben as like collides into him as she like snaps up, and she like doesn't really notice him, and then steps back to look at him, and then just shakes her head and walks out the door, or starting to anyway.
So Akbar kind of tries to answer Malik's question the best he can and gives an argument that seems fairly reasonable from a logical standpoint, saying, Ashan is just one of dozens of worlds that are undergoing this, and where do we draw the line? And I think we need to focus on the overall strategy. And then Han Solo actually is one that kind of stands up. He says, Akbar, we've been through this before. He says something about, you can't win the hearts and minds of the galaxy by numbers alone. I'm with Malik. He says, how can we let these people suffer if we have any way at all to prevent it?
And Malik nods.
Oh,
no, go ahead. Go ahead, Ruby.
Yeah, Europa turns to like, it's almost kind of like a siren's call. If you've ever seen the original animated Clone Wars, where the Force move was used through one of the I forget what the creature's name was or the race, but he used Force move through his vocal cords. And Europa kind of does this, and it like shatters a computer that was like directly in front of her, like a screen, and it just like cracks the screen and the components there, and again the rabid hatred and anguish and like pent up feelings. It almost feels like a storm for those of the Force, and she just kind of screams, "It's we're going to Ashan."
Jaminos just kind of casually looks to the Mandalorian holocron and he goes, "Laginir te vode tiskala," and he just kind of nods to him, and just for expediency, he just says, "Get the men ready," because he's already getting his soldiers ready to go to Ishan.
Luke kind of stands forth and says, he understands the situation that she's in. He says, this is an obvious trap. He says, they're trying to goad us into action, but I realize how hard it must be to resist this temptation. He says, it's because the Supreme Leader knows of you and fears you. That's why your people are made to suffer. And he kind of continues and says, I was once in your situation, and my master gave me a certain bit of advice, and there was great pain that came from it, but also great learning. He says, I'm not going to command you or even instruct you on what to do. Even the very wise can't see all ends, but if you choose to travel to Ishan, know that pain awaits you, but perhaps answers as well.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to stand by and watch my mother ruin my world and my people. And she just kind of like this time it's like waterworks, right? Like her eyes are just kind of tearing up, and like flooding is the term I would like to use.
So Malik turns and sighs heavily and walks up to Europa, and he's never really been particularly, what's the word I'm looking for? Particularly social with any of his companions besides like R4, and he like grabs her wrists and kind of makes her look at him in the face, kind of by sticking his face in her face, and he's like, I know what it's like to lose someone or people. We're going to go there and we're going to make things right like we always do. And he kind of turns and looks over his shoulder at Akbar, and he's like, prepare what you got to prepare for us to get there. Traps or not, I'm lucky. And he kind of shrugs and looks over at Gray and looks back over at the Jedi as he waits for whatever their response might be.
It should be noted that Europa probably doesn't deny the Malik getting that close to her. She's probably just like too far gone to be emotionally stable, and she just takes it all in course. There's probably like a technician coming in. If I can add something, Bo.
Yeah.
To the end of that video, it's almost after like 5 seconds after the little hollow thing end, and there's like a pop-up of the leader of the Achani, the matriarch, if you will, and like some of her people in the background is like just saying like, I know you're listening, it's time for your homecoming, daughter.
Mox was sort of following along with Malik, and after Malik speaks with Europa, Mox looks at her. There's kind of an awkward moment. Mox kind of gives her a little punch in the arm, not that he can really reach very high up her arm.
Hits her in the forearm.
Yeah.
Looks at Malik, looks back at her, and just nods.
Yeah, and the person that the matriarch that you saw is like, if Europa was like 20 years older and was like less completely non-tattooed, she'd be like almost identical, right? And the lady has like a sense of regality to her in dress and stature, really, as she like sits in a throne, addressing the hollow camera. And yeah, like Europa kind of just goes silent after that.
And Malik can't help being a smartass, and he looks down at Europa and he's like, she's cute, but really looks like a bitch. So let's go take care of some business.
But would you mind if the Mandalorian representative be Jamios's father, just for role-playing sake?
Instead of you?
Well, no, the Mandalorian representative on the hollow thing, because you said
absolutely.
Mandalore itself.
Yeah, go for it.
Because he looks to his father and kind of he kind of walks to the hologram and lowers his voice, even though it doesn't really help because he's still kind of rough and gruff, and he just goes, Tiskir at the battle, Sonora Mandiam. And again, translation, there's a protocol he just put in place that should they fail, Mandalores to be evacuated, because they're getting serious push right now, and it's the worst case scenario is get the fuck out of there, regroup in a fleet.
So after this talk, some more brief discussions happen. There's some debate, rather civil debate, but it seems that the spiritual leaders of this movement have made up their mind, and they're going to go to Ishan. It's going to be some time before Anybody could head there en masse from the rest of the fleet or the NRR, but your ship itself, your Hawk or whatever, is made ready and can depart immediately. All right, you ready to head out?
Gonna do a little segue first here.
Yeah.
So Malik visits Gray in his room, and there's this mismatch of a droid sitting there in R4. He's going to basically get R4, and he walks into Gray's room, and there's this droid, and R4 is like arc welding like parts of it. And he looks at R4, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like points at like some part of the droid, and he like starts complaining about like the job he's doing welding it. He's like, "Do you want me to get that other circle droid out here to fix this for me?" Complaining at R4. And he's like, "Hurry this up, we've got to leave." And he kind of turns to Gray and he says, "I want you to stay here. I want you to listen to Master Luke and I guess Kirix. And when I get back, hopefully this droid is ready to go."
And Gray's like, "Yes, Father." And then he, gets back to work, and he flips his arc welding kind of helmet down, and as an afterthought, kind of flips it up and says, "I think I might meet you sooner rather than later." He says, "Master Tib has given me permission to go with the rest of the fleet."
And Malik's like, I do not give you permission to do that. You stay here until this droid particularly is ready."
And at this point, like in the doorway, you can see the kind of diminutive figure of Kirix Tib. And it says, "Your boy is headstrong, like somebody else in his family. He wants to go." He says, "There comes a time, every bird must leave the nest. The time that every pupil must leave his master, Malik."
And Malik turns to Kirix and he's like, "I know what happens to your pupils when they leave on their own, or, well, maybe it would actually be better if he did leave you."
He nods his head and he says, he kind of walks in closer to you, and Gray is still welding and kind of making some noise doing that, but he kind of lowers his voice and says, "Gray is powerful in the Force, Malik, more powerful than myself or most Jedi I've ever met." He says, "He needs to be taught by someone other than myself. So in this instance, you're correct."
And Malik just stares down at Kirix and he's like, "And who is that going to be?"
He gives a shrug and heads back out the doorway and says, "I leave that to you."
And he just kind of shakes his head and he's like, as Kirix leaves, he's like, "How would I know?"
Sounds like a good time for a screen wipe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. While large-scale operations out of NRR space have become all but impossible without raising the ire of the First Order, single ships or groups of ships, aided by smugglers with no love of the Supreme Leader, generally have no trouble moving from place to place. You now find yourself in your ship, descending through the atmosphere of Ishan, the Agony homeworld on the Inner Rim. You've arrived near sunset, and as your vessel glides closer and closer to the planet's equatorial cities, you can see the system's orange star glow dimly over a tired horizon as it dips lower and lower and fades from view, leaving the majestic towers and twisting rivers and looming mountains behind in washed-out hues of brown. By day, you can imagine what the city may look like. Nearly encircled by mountains, its colossal buildings reach towards the sky. There are little pockets of unbroken green and blue between the glass-like buildings as the Shan has preserved rivers and wilderness areas. Eventually, you land and step out of your ship. It's warm and slightly humid, but not uncomfortably so. Right now, it's quiet. You don't really sense any civil unrest or violence, but looks can be deceiving. You need to decide your next steps. So, at this point, you've rushed boldly into the lion's den. Swiftness of action has brought you far, and you've managed to land in one of the city's low-rent districts without being noticed. But now you need direction. Probably need to start by catching up on current events. Right now, you're in a small starport. Nearby, you'd expect all the requisite facilities like bars, shops, restaurants, and streets.
Malik turns from the co-pilot seat and looks kind of back towards where Europa and Jaminos and R4 would be, and he asks, he's like, Europa, he's like, do they have martial law here? I don't see anyone that seems any violence out on the streets. Would they do that here? At least your government?
Tess is shutting down engines and securing the ship from.
You around, Rivers?
Oh, I'm pushing the wrong fucking button. I just had this like mass fucking talk, and anyway,
Repeat your 5-minute soliloquy.
she goes quiet and looks back up at the viewport, basically, of the hawk, and she shakes her head. She says, "It's not very wise to walk around with weapons. They'll know instantly who we are. Weapons are usually forbade in, large quantities, especially within the inner city. My people are, well, rather militaristic when it comes to personal combat. We even know how to speak. Our movements belay feelings, emotion, ability to walk, and this has been the first time in, well, years since I've been home."
Jamilos just kind of gives a huff, and he's like, damn it, Johnny.
And it is probably not wise for me, or at least my face, to be seen.
And he just takes her helmet from her hands and just plops it on her head. There, problem solved.
She just goes quiet after like adjusting the helmet, and she's like, well, when you met me, you saw a manner of dress that was much in the same of most people upon this planet. You will see. I will stand out like a sore thumb like this, and even if I didn't. But to answer your question, Malik, yes. I mean, other than the climate, which I see nothing out of order, at least from what I remember when I was a little girl, I wouldn't be able to tell you unless I knew, unless I was there.
Malik just kind of nods, and he's like, so you're saying everyone's dressed half naked, and I think I might like this place. And he kind of like chuckles. And
Yes, filled with women and men who could probably beat you to a pulp, Malik.
He's like, He's like,
as a matter of fact, we do that to speak to one another.
He's like, that sounds strange. Strange to me.
Des wrinkles her brows. It's charming.
Jamilos just cocks his rifles like, did I do it wrong? Is that how you say hello? Because that's how we say hello.
Guns aren't the way here, and if they are, well, if you bring them out in any show of force, I'm sure the order is going to be all over us before we can get anywhere.
So R4 kind of rolls down the ramp ahead of you guys, kind of like saying, like, in his whatever language, binary or whatever it is, kind of says something like, come on, let's get a move on. Finish putting up your cowls and helmets. And he's like I've never seen that before.
And Malik just shrugs and he's like, all I got is a pretty face. And he heads after R4 with his rifle.
Tess unbuckles her gun belt and leaves it hanging on the back of the pilot's chair, but she does secret her lightsaber hilt about her person.
In between the front pocket, the two boobs.
Yeah.
Somewhere it just vanishes.
Malik just like kind of waves the blaster and he's like, you're always saying I'm old. Maybe this is my walking stick.
Jaminos, he shoulders his rifle. He's like, I'm a Mandalorian. It's not the first time my people have been here. I know the rules. I won't make this fuss. But,
And Malik's
I
like,
wouldn't mind getting in a fight or two.
Yeah, I think this is where Europa actually takes out like a from her quarters. She takes out like this old blade. It's like really old looking. It's got all these runes on it, and it's the first time you guys have seen it. But it's an ancient sword. It's got all these kind of like old writings and whatnot on it. Looks a bit like a large like scimitar, basically.
Like a katana or something.
No.
more of a
let's
curved blade.
Let's do force points or destiny points.
Question:
Yeah.
What's the Rodian quartermaster? Was his name John?
Yeah.
So Malik looks at Europa and he's like, "Oh man," he's like, "John did you no favors with that thing."
No, John didn't give it to me. I found this on where I was for the past 4 years. Joris actually tracked it down for me.
He's like,
I think he was actually in that big conglomeration of people when that
Yeah, he was.
Was he?
There's so many characters. So, okay. Destiny points.
That's about right.
So, Jan. Yes. Good.
This is about how it always goes.
Good.
Man,
God, we do this all the time. Like,
especially lately.
Right, it didn't used to.
It's like it's broken.
It
Yeah.
didn't used to be this consistent.
Did your Europa go?
no, I haven't yet. I gotta like move some shit around.
Or should be like the biggest pitch
Oh, there
black
you go.
one of them all.
Hey, so that actually ties us up.
Yeah, you get an extra light, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody's texted me. All right. So, yep. All tied up 3-3. So as you guys kind of start to ask around, we're going to do like a mini kind of investigation type of deal. And I know a lot of you guys' skills this might not be your strong suit. So if you have anything else you want to do as an alternative, just let me know.
Well,
So
I actually want to. If there's a way that I could obscure my face but get out of my armor, I'd be very happy for that.
yeah, I think you could do that.
It's like a cowl or something.
And the reason why is I'll tell you in a second. I want to argue that I could use Brawl here to find out some information.
Okay.
Just due to the culture, right?
Yeah, I think you have time. Like you don't want to just store it on your ship or anything like that.
The armor, I think I'm actually gonna put it into like a strong box or even just carry it with me in like a big bag, basically.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be uncommon to see someone with a big bag.
right. Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Duffel bag.
Yeah.
Question. This is kind of aside. What is coordination? What does that skill do?
Coordination does a lot of things. It's your balance, it's your like mobility, it's your
Talents and stuff that use it too.
There's a lot of things.
Like
I mean, there's all
physical
kinds of shit.
type of, well, there's athletics too, so I don't know really, but
You can also use coordination to give you advantages. Like I have a thing that gives me for my 2 ranks in coordination, right? It gives me damage on my brawl for how many coordination things I have.
yeah, because I have 5 greens, but I was gonna try to use that some way. Maybe if I could sneak in somewhere and access data, that would be stealth probably. I don't know. That's fine. Go ahead.
I would like to, like I said, maybe it's like, I go into like a local eatery or something, and I make some like big fuss about something, and I will, challenge somebody to go outside, basically for like bragging rights, right? Or like, to get information out of it.
Yeah. So you walk in, you guys head out of the starport, and Europa has changed out of her gear, and you go into this not a bar, but just like almost like a sandwich shop, so like someplace people get quick food.
Yeah, and maybe Europa says something like to the tune of like, just watch what I do and don't interfere. And yeah, she just like like shoulder checks somebody and turned around and like, does like that was your fault, apologize.
Yeah, so this guy that she does that to kind of looks at her and then looks behind her, maybe even outside, and says, "Watch where you're going." He says, "What? Who are these people with you? Don't you know you're going to get us all killed? Get back on your ship and up into the stars. We don't need your kind." Then he kind of stops himself and looks closer at Europa and realizes that she's Ishan. That's how do you pronounce it? Ichani? Ichani. But the company that she keeps is very odd. So he kind of narrows his eyes.
It would be very hard for him it would have to be like a double take thing, because I dye my hair, I like have changed my eye color, I've got like massive amounts of tattoos, and my face is covered, right? So
at any rate, he's kind of pissed that you're toting around guns with these guys.
Yeah, and she just says, "Yeah, I know, but I told them we come here for a job, offered money, lots of it, and we're looking for the place to go, and I was hoping you could point us to the palace and what's going down here, but since you don't have the bantas, I guess we'll just ask someone else." And she walks off, and basically said he had no balls.
He's like, "You must be new here, you sod." He's like, and everybody in this, I think of it as like a Sbarro. everybody in the Sapporo kind of drops their pizza and looks up. And he's like,
"It's the mall."
He goes, "Which palace you talking about, you bitch? The old one or the new? Because if you're looking for the old palace, you're only going to find rubble."
Yeah, there's almost like a really quiet like moment of pass as everybody's laughing about the mall pizza shop, and Europa just gets really quiet, and like everyone can feel her or see her fist kind of clench up. She says, "You just made a really big mistake," and she like points outside.
And so this is not an unusual thing. So like a lot of people like drop their pizza, like, "Hey, let's go watch this. Let's go watch this." So there's a screen wipe, and you're outside, and there's like a big circle of onlookers, and there's this guy, he's stripped down to bare waist, and he's about ready to square off on Europa. So what kind of check you thinking about?
Oh, I'm gonna like fight this guy down. So basically, Europa does the same thing. She will go down to like not to the traditional equipment, like her original gear, basically like just her fighting fit clothes, and she adopts like whatever 3 yellows in this skill is going to give me, like stance, and does the Wing Chun.
Crane technique, Sun style.
Yeah, crane technique. Yep.
All right.
And she does like the come hither kind of thing as like, he's doing all this fancy shit too.
All right. So this is going to be just kind of abstracted stuff. 2 out of 3 checks.
Okay.
And just 3 purple
Fredo
difficulty.
starts taking bets.
Do you have it?
Yep. Set. All right. So
with that, I would do 8 damage.
Okay, it's just going to be like 2 out of 3. So you win that.
Oh.
Yeah. How are you gonna?
So basically, like he does like a flying bicycle kick, and Europa just like grabs. This is Star Wars, right? Like,
Right.
I know Tet's gonna go like, that's stupid, but he does like a God, who's that character off of fucking Mortal Kombat that does the bicycle kick? God damn it.
Liu Kang.
Liu Kang, yeah, he just fucking like does that, and like Europa grabs like his left ankle and like throws a punch to his the back of his knee on that leg, and like he just kind of like does a full like with all the power that she has, she just slams his face into the ground, and she steps back. Like it's almost kind of like crowd, like everybody goes quiet. There's like the clamor of, oh God, they're fighting, oh yeah, they're fighting, and people are riling with their beers, and then they just go quiet. There's like, whoa.
Malik yells, "Sweep the leg!"
So this guy, he hits the pavement, and you can hear the wind's taken out of him, and the crowd's like, oh, and like as soon as he hits the pavement, he kind of like does a burpee, kind of springs up, and he's ready to go again, and he initiates a different attack this time. It kind of goes in and it kind of throws a left hook and a cross.
Okay.
And
well, let him roll. Let's see what he gets.
Dark side. Upgraded once. All right.
Go ahead. You're just gonna roll.
Oh, you do the same. It's the same check.
Oh, me? I thought he was gonna throw a punch because this would be like the only time I get to use unarmed parry.
No.
Anyway, it's gonna upgrade. Do you have the upgrade in there, or the downgrade, rather?
Oh, the difficulty's upgraded.
Okay. If it's all set, I'll just hit the button.
Yep. Oh. So you win
with
that
that 3 advantage, I'm actually going to do something. I am going to crit him.
He's done for you.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm gonna do
it's
it.
More of a skill challenge, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that 3 advantage though to crit, and basically what happens is like you tell me how he attacks me.
Yeah, right. So he's just kind of like a hook and across, and you catch it.
So he when he like goes over the top of Europa's head, she basically like elbows the side of his knee, and he kind of like falls down to one knee, and as she's like spinning with the elbow around, the back of her foot hits the back of his head underneath his like the bump or underneath his head, and he just like collapses into the dirt really hard.
At this, he wipes his hand across his face and looks down. There's blood, and his front tooth is loose, and he looks up at the crowd. People are exchanging some credits, and then the crowd starts to break up, and he kind of stands up, holding his ribs. He says, "Very well, woman. Come inside. I'll tell you what you need to know."
Yeah, and this isn't to belittle everybody else, right? If you got some checks while this is going on that you want to do, you should do them.
This is an investigation, so there'll be other stages of it, so they can maybe do some of the other
Jamilos is
stuff.
sitting at somebody's table who abandoned their pizza and is eating their pizza.
It was the dude that I whooped his ass on.
Yeah, this guy gets back to his table when his pizza's all cold, and he's like kind of pissed off. And he motions Europa to sit down, and he'll kind of tells
Yeah,
what he knows
Europa
about what's going on.
Europa actually pays for, like, with some credits that she has to spare, like enough for people to eat, and she actually is gonna undo her imagine like a Middle Eastern, like not a burqa, but like a wrap, and she starts to undo it, but just enough to where he could see her face, and she's like a spitting image of Miss Old Matriarch.
So he, I guess, would notice the resemblance then, at least.
Oh yeah, he would it would be like almost instantaneous.
You think he would know who she is?
I mean, who
Like,
she is?
she kind of like
most
known,
possibly. She was the crown princess, like the next leader of Ashan.
He'll just lead in with the question, then he kind of takes a bite of his pizza and chews it with his bloody mouth and says, "Hi, now I know how you must have those skills. Must be a stunt double for the queen."
No, the queen's my mother.
He goes, "And I'm a Bantha son." And he goes back to eat his pizza. And he kind of looks at her face and realizes that she's kind of serious. And he says, "No, really?"
Yes, she sold me to slavers when I was younger.
He kind of says, "Dick move, that. But you're here for information, and I'm here to help you out." With a little encouragement, of course, and he kind of holds his ribs on the right side. And he says, "Like I said, the old palace has been razed."
What happened?
He says, "What happened?" He says, "Your mother blew it to hell."
Yeah, she just doesn't even this just doesn't even register on her brain. She's like, what in hell? What in the god is she doing?
He says, "That's what all of us are wondering." He says, "Ever since she threw her lot in with those first order goons, there've been more and more troopers to planet side." He says, "Rumor is there's a new palace being built, but it's far away from here."
Well, I'm here for Ashan. If you don't know, I'm here to take back what's mine and protect my people.
And he takes a little bit of the oregano, puts it on his pizza, takes a bite, and kind of continues and says, "All right." He says, "Fair enough." He says, "You're a capable sort. You've proved that to me in the most painful of fashions." And he says, "Hey, listen, a few days ago, a bunch of troopers and a group of local elite came through this district and arrested a handful of our leaders. It's really pissed some people off. There's little most citizens can do. But there is one capable man. His name is Al-Aziz, who frequents a local bar nearby. He's organizing a bit of a resistance, you could say." And then he kind of tells you where this bar is and says, "If you need someone to throw your lot in who's willing to take action, he's your man. Be careful around Al-Aziz, though. He's a drunk."
He should get right along with Malik here.
And Malik's sitting across the table with like this bunch of pizza on the table, which he's not touched where other people have left, and he's like, "Could do worse." And he looks at Jaminos, who's, I assume, stuffing his face with pizza.
Oh yeah, he's already eaten like 2/3 of somebody's pizza. Dumped a shit ton of Parmesan on it.
God.
Malik's like, "I'm lactose intolerant."
Tess like pokes at the pizza a little bit, but doesn't eat a pizza.
Anyway, no, seriously.
See, it's like Chicago deep dish pizza, so it's basically just a pasta.
Malik's like, "I think I will get along with him." And he looks at the guy that Europa beat up, and he's like, "Now you're not gonna go telling a bunch of people the Princess of Ashan is here, right?"
He says, like, hell no. He says the Order has no friends in this sector. I wish you good luck.
And she just kind of like looks down at the table at the end of the pizza forlornly. It's like, well, we need to find this LZ's, but I can't say I know the name. I don't know where he would be. She says to everybody else, it's like, as I said, it's probably not a good idea for your weapons to be out. He much has told us that.
So yeah, she tells you the name of this place that he hangs out at. You might want to try there.
Yeah, we can go there. If everybody else is ready and not, stuffing their face with pizza.
Oh no, he left like half a slice for somebody.
After he bit into it.
Right.
He left the crust.
Pizza.
The crust and a little bit of
He
pizza.
left the crust. wipes his fingers on somebody's jacket that was sitting on a chair.
No, okay.
It's just Jamios is just like, well, I'm not getting rid of my gun, so let's just go find him.
Malik looks at Geminus and he's like, "You're not going to get rid of your gut either, eating all that pizza."
It takes a lot to have the Constitution of Mandalore. I understand that you're envious.
All right.
So you guys make your way down the street, and you pass like a trooper here and there. They kind of seem to be on other business. Don't seem to notice your weapons. Don't seem to pay much attention to you. And eventually, you go into this bar, and this place is fairly crowded. Men and women there, and they all look, very dangerous. As you walk in on the other side of the bar, like a fight's breaking out, and you like see this guy like get thrown up on the bar and smashed onto it, and there's bottles breaking, and somebody like slides him down the bar, and he lands at your feet, kind of unconscious, and like a bouncer picks him up and like throws him out at your feet onto the sidewalk, and he looks up at you and he smiles, and he only has one tooth, and he goes, "Tried to pass bad credits."
Malik nods and looks at Tess and he kind of says, "My kind of place."
Tess kind of wrinkles her nose as she steps over the guy that was thrown out. Looks at Malik and kind of grins slyly. Says, "Does kind of look like fun."
And Malik, are there all these Achani? Everyone in the bar?
Yeah,
Yeah, like you would notice that a majority of them, like most of these people, like where there's different divergence in humans, right? Like with Achani, they're like almost all identical, only subtle variations. People that would be high in society would have the most variation. So Europa doesn't look too much like these people, but she seems to share the same kind of like bone structure and like physicality, right?
Alex is like, they all look the same to me.
Yeah. Malik's like, "Oh my god, it's like 100 Europas. I think I might not like this place after all."
Yeah, if he says that name out loud, that's probably bad.
He does. He doesn't like.
Oh God.
But I mean, he's not like screaming it. But
Jamil
Oh yeah.
is like, I don't know, they're kind of hot. The white hair is kind of cool.
and Malik looks at Jaminos and looks at Europa, and he's like, "Mm-hmm." And he just walks
You
to
got
the
a
bar.
problem, old man?
He's like, "No, no problem whatsoever." He's like, "I love when young love is budding in difficult situations."
Yeah, she just is like, looks at Jaminos and then like looks back to Malik. She's like, fat chance, Mandalore. And she walks inside.
And she just looks like them, just like, you're my sister. That you.
So as you walk inside, the bouncer, bartender, or whoever is kind of on his way back in as well. And as you enter the bar on the left is the actual bar, and he says, "What can I do for you?"
Well, Aziz, I need to know where he is.
He says, "Aziz." He says, "Not many are seeking him out, except the ones that want to kick his ass. Not many are very successful."
Well, I'm one of those hopefuls, I guess.
He says, "No problem." He says, "Just don't start a ruckus or you'll be paying for it." And he kind of indicates towards the back of the bar. And back in the bar, like there's this booth with like several guys around it, and they're all obviously deep in their drinks and making kind of rude comments and laughing really loud, but it's not really that out of place at this type of bar.
Malik definitely buys a drink.
It's like some graffiti on a table that says Slurm was here.
You guys
Slurm was
don't
here.
don't know Slurm. I'm the only one who knows Slurm. He's my buddy.
Yeah, you guys don't know him.
Like Malik tips out some of his drink and doesn't really say why, but that was for Slurm.
That's awesome.
Oh god, this fucking Slurm thing.
Oh no, it's already gone into being its own meme with us.
Don't be a Slurm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Europa will just like walk back there and like let her friends kind of mill about the bar and only take those that really want to go with her, you know, and try to, you know, she might say something along the lines of like, do what you do best and try not to blow up the bar or something like that, and like, you know, find some shit out, be useful. God, act casual.
Well, you just said all the things that would be casual about me, blowing things up, making a scene. Yeah.
I don't need you in there causing a ruckus. You already get everyone's attention with the big ass gun.
Malik says, "Take Tess with you.
Oh yes, because I need everyone to start ogling her.
Maybe that'll put them off their what's the word I'm looking for? Off their game. Gain advantage."
You know, Malik, you said the first thing that's probably appropriate in a long time. It's like, I almost regret letting Gray come with us.
And Malik looks at her and he's like, "What did you just say?" He's like, "You better be
She
kidding."
just walked.
So Tess, you're gonna fall in with
She is.
Europa, okay? So Malik and Jam kind of hang out towards the front, doing their best to,
Party people.
hide their weapons or whatnot.
Both
And this
have
is the
blaster
kind of place. This is the kind of place that maybe every once in a while, some people will walk in with their guns and that sort of thing. It's a pretty seedy place, but nonetheless, Europa and Tess get to the back of the bar, and there's just a ton of guys there, and they seem to be partying and watching some sort of sporting event on the Hollow, and they're pretty much deep in their own conversation.
Europa will nudge Tess.
Tess sort of leans conspiratorially towards Europa. What?
Do your Skywalker thing. Get their attention.
So Tess breaks into the old soft shoe. No.
Do
Isn't
that
the
thing you
Skywalker thing
did.
to lose a hand?
Yeah, right.
Tess one time did pull out her cans.
Yeah, I don't
Was
think
that
that's
Elsa?
appropriate.
Was that Elsa or Tess?
That
No,
was
that was
Tess.
Tess.
I don't think that's
Elsa's
appropriate for
Skywalker.
this particular. Um, okay, Tess will just sort of blunder her way into this group looking very touristy.
Act drunk.
Yeah, maybe a little tipsy and sort of like she's not quite sure where she is, kind of lost.
So you blunder into this table, and one of the drinks spills, and you can see the spilled drink pool across the table. And start
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. And she starts like mopping at it with whatever napkins and whatever she can grab on the table, making quite a spectacle.
So the
Mopping
guy
at it with her shirt.
Yeah, the guy like stands up, kind of pissed initially that somebody's like, "Why you slimy no good go?" And he kind of gets ready to clock this person, and he looks up and he's like, "Well, what have we here?"
He turned
my
into
God.
Lando immediately.
And when he jumps up, Tess looks wide-eyed. Oh my, I'm sorry.
He says, "Are you going to replace that drink?"
Tess says, "Well, sure, be happy to. Would you entertain my friend while I go get some drinks? Come here, Europa." Or she doesn't say Europa, but come here.
Yeah, Europa in her like shawled regalia. Obviously still of feminine form, right? But there's a clear definition lacking in the frontal, up towards her shoulder region between the two women.
Oh my god.
So Alzi's like, "Yeah, sure thing. We have more than enough testosterone to go around, but hurry back."
And so Tess will make her way towards the bar.
You know, and she kind of says behind her like her basically like face wrap as she sits down with them. It's like, I've been looking for someone, and we're pointed in this direction.
And as Europa's trying to talk to him, he kind of like isn't really looking at her. He's kind of watching Tess as she approaches the bar, leaning around Europa, and kind of offhand he's like, "Oh yeah, you're looking for someone? Who might that be?"
And like when nobody's paying attention to Europa, she just kind of like undoes her face wrap just enough to where like you could see like her roots of her hair being white and like her face and stuff like that. And she like grabs his face with her hand and like makes him look at her.
So he initially was pretty hung up on Tess and tries to pull away. He's a little tipsy. Then he looks and says, "Hey," he says, "I might." He yells down to this guy next to me. It's like, "How many of those have I had? The strong ones." And he's like, "Just one, mate, just one." It's like, "Huh." He says, "I dare say you're the spitting image of the queen."
She just kind of like has like a stark face, and she's like, "Yeah, no, that's my mother. I'm looking for LZ's. You happen to be him, don't you?"
He says, "If you're looking for Alziz, you've come to the right place." And he looks around to these boys here. And they all kind of nod to Europa. And they say, "But being relative to the queen might not be what it used to be."
I'm not
What do you
looking
hear?
for favors for anything. My name's Europa. I was taken away at a young age. I was the princess, sold to slavers. I only recently found out about Achan, and I made every effort to come here and help.
He goes, "You're not going to slap cuffs on us and drag us off to some prison?"
No, I intend to kill my mother.
Strong words.
I intend to kill my mother and stop the First Order.
He kind of nods. And he says, "Are you alone?"
The New Republic is never alone. And she just kind of points out the thing, and she says, "We're here to do what we have to. I can't just sit idly by and watch my people suffer."
And at this point, Tess maybe gets back with the drinks.
Okay, so Tess returns to the table, places glasses in front of Europa and I just lost his name, but anyway, Alziz, and sits down, says, good, I see you two are talking. And just sort of looks back and forth between the two of them to see what's going on.
So Alziz takes his drink from Tess now and doesn't seem to be paying attention to her, and looks at Europa, and he looks at her, makes eye contact as he takes his drink, and glug, 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 slams it down on the table. He says, "Nor I." He says, "Boys, come with me." And he looks to Europa and Tess. He says, "You ladies too. We're going down to the dojo."
Yes, but I'll be bringing my friends with me. And she says, she does like a whistle, and, as they walk out of the thing.
He says, "More the merrier."
Malik looks at Jaminos. Good.
Never mind.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna. Do they come to see us, or do they just keep going somewhere else?
They're taking you somewhere.
Okay, so like when they come out of there, you just hear, go, 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 as like Jaminos is like drinking out of some sort of like equivalent of some sort of like giant beer funnel kind of thing.
Boot.
As he's like Das Boot, and he's like racing some Ichani guy, and he's somehow able to or once he's he finishes before the other guy is like, "And that's why Mandalorians are better drinkers than you, damn Ichani." And then he just stands up, and then he sits back down, and he's like, "Oops."
Malik is sitting there with a drink with an umbrella in it, and kind of just sitting there watching, laughing.
So I want Jaminos to make a check here.
Roll to get drunk.
I've got the iron discipline of a Mandalorian warrior. I should be able to survive this.
All right.
He says he gives me like. Go ahead.
Let me see. I'm gonna set back. All right. Since you're distracted and drinking, I want you to do a perception check.
Alrighty. Yeah. Statistically impossible for me to pass.
Well, that's not true.
Well, it's also very unlikely. Let's put it that way.
It's very unlikely. I agree with that.
So behind Jaminos, maybe 25, 50 yards, kind of behind him, hovering in the air, traversing the city, is a probe droid, and its head kind of spins around, and then it kind of dips back over the horizon. And the rest of you guys exit the bar and see the Mandalore out there chugging drinks.
All right, there. Let's get up. We got somewhere to be. And she looks over at Alziz and she says,
to prop himself up.
she looks over at Alziz and she says, I'm going to need help to do this. That's why I came to you. People pointed me to you. I can trust that you're, well, ready to do what you have to.
He says, indeed I am. I'm ready to do anything, but unfortunately I'm not able to do what needs to be done. He says, follow me down to the dojo. It's time that I introduce you to the White Fox.
The White Fox? Yeah, and she'll follow.
He's like, yeah, White Fox. We call her that. She's foxy.
Malik's like, let's go.
Jimmy is like, I'll be the judge of that.
No,
She better
actually,
be damn
Malik
foxy,
would,
though.
Malik would not say that. I'm just sorry.
Tess silently
Jimmy
follows
is
him.
at least a little drunk. I'm going to play him off as such.
All right, you guys, so you exit the bar, you turn to the left and go down a few alleys and then actually descend a bunch of staircases. And eventually you find yourself in something that looks like a dojo. And as you enter, there are these Iconian air all sparring and getting after it. And in the middle of the floor, you see one particular figure that just seems to be mopping up. And Alzi is like, well, there she is. But she's as cold as she is beautiful. Tell her about your cause. Maybe knowing who you are, she'll help. Says, just so happens, she's found a way into the new palace. Used to work there, actually. Rumor is she has a few friends still on the inside and they haven't deactivated her clearance codes.
Yeah, I think Europa just kind of like looks around at the situation and she undoes her headscarf again, basically, and like, kind of it might take a moment for her to realize who she might be from a distance, but basically any adult on this Sean would know who she is.
So she's obviously an adult, and as Europa walks into the dojo, this figure in the middle, there's a white fox, kind of does like a judo throw, flips somebody, and gives him a punch in the chest, and kind of stands up. They both bow to each other.
Chop.
Judo. A
There's
judo
no such
throw.
thing. There's no such thing as a judo
A
chop.
Judy chop. There is a judo throw, though. It's not a throw.
Yeah. Yes.
So I didn't say a judo chop.
No, Rivers did.
Judy chop.
So she bows to her opponent, and
There is
opponent
cinema.
leaves the floor, and she's kind of out of breath, and kind of looks to her right, and like the third character in this session gives a double take, and she's like, "You're the spitting image of the queen."
Europa's just kind of like, at this point besmirched by the point that people keep saying that. It's like, yeah, so I've been told. But if I have to hear that saying one more time, I might just go ballistic.
And Alziz kind of pipes in, says, "I hope it's not a problem. I brought her and her friends here. Listen to what they have to say. They're the real deal. Might be able to help us out."
Yeah, I mean, Europa will recant her story, and she kind of like steps out onto the floor and like takes a seat, a kneeling seat, and she sits down and recants after pointing to various positions on the dojo, and she's just like, "I don't know who you are. And first of all, why are you called the White Fox?"
And she-
Surely I would have heard of you if you were, well, I say that, but I was merely just a couple years old when I had been forced to leave. Well, forcibly removed.
She looks over to Alzes and winks and bows to Europa and say, then let's have a long conversation.
Malik's over on the side, stretching, trying to touch his toes.
Screen wipe as they fall into combat, thus speaking.
Yeah, I don't think Europa even moves from where she's sitting. She just kind of like kneels up, and people go quiet, obviously, and she just takes a defensive stance at the edge of the arena.
There's a screen wipe. Across your screen looms an immense star destroyer of the First Order. It blots out the stars as it continues to grow larger, eventually filling the screen. You can hear the low rumble of the ship's demonic engines, and then the scene cuts to the image of the Supreme Leader Snoke. You hear his voice. Very well, Leia, says Snoke, his hollow feed flickering. You have pleased me to no end. Everything is proceeding according to plan. Instruct the crew to emerge from hyperspace well out of planetary sensor range. We must ensure the enemy is not aware of our presence. As you wish, Supreme Leader, Leia Organa says. She kneels, looking down at her black tunic and black boots. Do you have any further instruction? Snoke hesitates and then says, No. Unlike your son, I sense no hesitation in you. Only discipline and the will to do what you must. He starts to laugh. The former princess stands, bows, and then leaves the Star Destroyer bridge. There's another screen wipe. Meanwhile, on Ashan, a cloaked figure sits in meditation atop a great spire. As the sun rises, he can sense the swelling power of the system's star. He imagined it filling him, then fueling him, then using that power to destroy, control, and what is that? He senses something. He stands and turns to go. A presence. Something he hasn't felt since. While the sun rose, you boarded his shuttle out of the city. Following White Fox's instructions and with her by your side, you dipped low over mountains and forests and followed a long river into pristine wilderness. There, to port, like a blue and white shimmering jewel arising from a mat of green, looms the new palace. White Fox has filled you in. Until recently she served there. She was dismissed for various reasons, but she still has connections and she made sure her key card wasn't deactivated. There's another screen wipe, and now you guys are pulling this skiff in close to shore. You stay near the shore as a low-profile skiff winds you up the river, nearer and nearer to the palace's base. Going in any of the main levels is going to be a non-starter, but if we can get to one of the security levels, my passkey should at least get our foot in the door. No promises, though. When I left, I wasn't the most popular girl on the block. You dock. White Fox ties up the skiff, and you guys trek over a hill and lie in wait underneath thick vegetation. White Fox points up. See there? That thing looks like a window. It's not. There's actually an alcove up there, and my department used to receive small deliveries that arrived via airspeeder. She patched to the Ascension gun on her hip. That's where these come in, and she's handed them out to everybody.
Do I need one?
You can have one if you want, but you probably could get up there with a force jump.
Yeah, well, I can go medium range, and then
Yeah.
I can technically do it on any surface. So I could go up to extreme, and I could go up to extreme if I need to.
You guys could probably.
Jameos just scoffs at it, and he's like, "No, I won't be needing that." He revs up his jetpack.
Yeah, Jam, we're trying to do this quietly. Europa just kind of says.
And he's like, "And that thing will snap the moment I try and get it. I weigh at least 100 pounds in the armor alone."
Malik just rolls his eyes and shoots the Ascension gun up and starts wheeling himself up without waiting for the rest of you.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Malik goes,
you're like kind of far
Okay.
away.
I see.
So you kind of have to cross this area that's fairly devoid of any cover before you get there. And White Fox kind of like with Malik rolls her eyes at Jaminos and says, "It's going to hold you, believe me."
He's like, maybe you should eat less pizza.
Wasn't even that good at pizza.
And Malik turns and he's like, but serious though, the point at hand is we have to cross this terrain and there's no cover. If they have watches, they're going to spot us.
So you guys got to figure out how to get to the building, and athletics or stealth is what I had in mind. You can do if you have an idea.
I'd be willing to do athletics.
I'll do stealth.
Yep, stealth for me.
Stealth.
Is R4 with us or is he back at the ship? Probably at the ship, I would assume.
He can be with you.
Okay. It does. I mean,
You can leave him back. That's fine. I don't think it's gonna be too helpful.
Well, either way, do you have difficulty set?
Difficulty is set.
well, that sucks.
Don't technically need those white or those black die, so.
Nope.
And Tess will commit one force die to agility. And then sneak across.
I really didn't think I'd be sneaking across anyways.
So you guys all kind of get to the base of the building and kind of like are pressed against it and ready to head up. And a couple of you guys are kind of following behind a little bit, and you guys are surely waiting for like some turret to pop out or something like that, but nothing does.
Yeah, I mean, Europa gets there pretty quickly, and she turns around and looks at everybody taking their time. She's like, looks around at whoever's next to her, and she says, I really don't like this. No, my mother, she's probably waiting for us.
Tess will look at Europa. Well, I don't feel like we've been noticed yet. And at that point, she will switch that force die from agility, and she will commit 2 to sense.
The best force power in this game.
I imagine Jameos was like the last one to show up, and he like tripped over a rock or something, and it took him a little bit longer.
All right. Episode 1. So we guys are going to do another one.
I didn't mean to do that.
So at this point, who failed their checks?
That'd be me.
I
I
did.
think it's just Jam and
No, I
Malik.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point, you see White Fox go ahead and shoot her gun up and start zipping skywards. And she's like, "Come on, guys! What are you waiting for? We got to move quickly." So I'm gonna do the people that failed first, and I want you to do either athletics or coordination. Um, but I'm going to give you a setback dice. All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sure.
Gymnos. So that's kind of a crap roll, man.
Well, I mean, it's not failure.
No, it's not a pass either.
Yeah, it's not a pass. So you guys are all going up this thing, and you get towards the top, and you suddenly,
It didn't hold him.
yeah, it did. It doesn't break. It doesn't break, but it releases early, and your foot's kind of on the ledge. You start to fall back, and Malik is able to kind of reach out and grab you and kind of pull you up to the ledge, but you're a little bit shaken, so take 3 strength.
Nice.
Malik's like, wow, you were right.
Jamio's just like, and this is why I don't listen to people about that kind of thing. I know what I'm talking about.
It's like either that or you're just clumsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can make it.
So Europa does the Luke Skywalker out of the carbonite freezing chamber thing. Just
Yeah, I just like, you guys get on your little rope, and I just kind of like jump once and get like halfway to the distance, right? And then like as I hit the building, I jump again, going up the horizontal positioning of the wall, and just kind of fucking like flip upwards.
Malik's just like, show off.
Hey man, I gotta show off my force powers. That's what I pay so much EXP for.
so everybody kind of gets up there, and Tess just gracefully just zips up, sure-footed.
Shouldn't like the boob weight, like, you know, do something?
She's got a proportionately sized backside, so it balances out somewhere.
All right, let's see here. All right, I didn't know who all was going to be playing, as far as their characters go. So let me put some people on the board here.
Lieutenant Jam, you got no legs.
All right. All right. So maybe a little bit strained, you guys come in from the Alkide alcove and find yourself in some sort of receiving area. Very sterile and sparse, containing only a locked glass door and a computer terminal. Well, says White Fox, here goes nothing. Time to see if I can still trust my friends. And she hands the pass key to Europa. Says, you want to do me the honors? And she kind of takes a small blaster from her holster and gets it ready.
Yeah, I mean, Europa will do it, but as she does this, like, from behind Europa, like, where her boot is, part of it opens up, and, like, a small metal thing flicks into her hand. Enough for, like, two grips. And she, swipes the basically the ID.
Sweet, let me just do a few things here.
It's just like, I know it's a little bit late to be asking, but is there any rules of engagement here? I mean, I don't want to have to shoot your mother, but I will defend myself.
Kill her on sight. The rest of them try not to kill them.
And he sighs, but switches on the stun setting. No fun at all. Yeah, honey, that's the side of Malik you want to see.
ATM.
So as you guys swipe open this card, this door just opens, and there's a scene like in Indiana Jones where they walk into some like Nazi command center, and there's all these people in there like working. They're clueless, and this door opens, and there's like, 2 first order officers like at security terminals or computer terminals, and there's a foreman or somebody kind of over top of them, and they're just like, what the? And so everybody gets a free action.
I'm going to shoot the first order officer I see.
This one.
Sure.
Go for it.
Okay.
So, just before Malik, before you go, I just want to quickly do something. I can make all 3 of them get within close range of us all. If this is just short range, Bo?
Yeah. Short range, I think that the farthest one's probably medium.
Okay, all right. So in that case, if you want me to, I can move all 3 of them to short range.
Meanwhile, Tess is saying, "Hi, how are you? We're all okay here."
The reason why I would do that is because if they get to act before us, they might do something with the computer.
Yeah. If you can move them, that's fine, and then I can just throw a grenade right in between them and probably kill them all.
So this is what I'm gonna do. I need to make a ranged attack. As per rules. It doesn't really state if it's like ranged light or something. So I'm just.
I thought the move was disciplined. If you're hurling it's a range.
Oh no, I'm not hurling anything. I'm pulling them towards me.
Yeah, it's just disciplined.
Are you sure? Because it says ranged attack. Well, either way.
I think from what I read today, because I was like, I got move, and I read up on it a little bit.
Oh, I didn't add any difficulty. Although it should just be average, so it's 2, I think.
Yeah, it's even better than that. It's discipline according to their silhouette, so it'd be like 1.
Okay, yeah, well, it's one. No, it's got 2 advantage on it. It's got 2 advantage on it. It doesn't matter. Next, disregard the purples on this. Okay. So I can actually do some pretty crazy shit with all that, but I only need one of them, right? So, actually, can I use light side points, guys?
Sure.
Go for it.
Well, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that. And so, not only are they going to end up that way, but all 3 of them are going to take their silhouette stat is times 10. They're going to take 10 damage, and they're going to end up right there, within like close range of us all. As like the door opens, you see Europa's hand just kind of like wave, and like she does like a pull-in thing, and they come like flying over counters and shit and land right in front of us.
Can you explain to me how they take the damage too? I'm just trying to figure it out. Because I thought one to activate the power, one to activate.
It says ranged attack, right?
Magnitude. And then one to use the control upgrade. So you need 3 light side.
That is right. Well, I'd got 4. Because I flipped 2, and I rolled 2 2s. So if I flipped them, and I did, they become 4 lights. So you need to do the strength, and you need to do a strength
die.
1.
It flips the whole die to light side.
Yeah, it flips the whole die. Because it's a single force die.
Okay, I don't know. I have to look at the book, but I thought it was just a pip that flips.
Yeah, I mean it would flip the whole force die. That's why there's like different facings on the die, right? Because there's a single black, there's 2 blacks, there's a single white, there's 2 white, and then there's an empty.
All right.
It flips the whole die, which I'm fine if they don't take the damage. But I mean, like it's resisted by armor.
Yeah, I want them to take the damage, but so okay.
Well, either way, they are in close or engaged range with us.
Homestead day. Wounds.
Can pull objects out of secure mountings or an opponent's grasp. Actually, no. What I'm doing, because using the force power to hurl objects, that would be hurling things, not pulling them towards you. So I'm not using the hurl power. I'm using just pull. So they're not going to take any wounds. It's just that all 3 of those guys get pulled towards us.
All right. Let's see. All right. Who's next?
Doesn't matter.
Just to clarify, they're in short range, except for the one that's in front of Europa. If there is one, then
So they're not engaged. They're kind of just short range, like right here.
yeah, no, that's fine. Short range means very good things for you ranged people.
Yeah. You don't want to like engage. Yeah. I think the rifle will get badness, but
it's engaged where they start to take penalties.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All right. I'll shoot the guy on the left then, if nobody has an issue with that.
No, I don't care. This is free actions.
Yeah, this is the first round. You just kind of surprise them all. Like you bust into this thing and you just get to go ape shit on it.
Let me know when difficulty's set.
Yeah. I think it's just 1 purple, yeah?
It's short.
1 purple for short, yes. 1 purple for short.
All right, your difficulty is set.
Oh, dear Jesus.
Gizmush.
Oh my god, what the fuck? What the fuck, dude? 2 triumphs?
Yeah, Jameez doesn't even aim his rifle. He just picks it up with... Go ahead.
I'm just actually trying to find the character sheet for this guy. We have so many characters, and first order officer should be somewhere, but I can't find him. Whatever. Okay, he's dead.
So that's Jamil just kind of picks his rifle up with one arm and shoots it kind of bored like, the guy just, he obviously shoots him like right between the eyes in deadly marksman kind of way, but he's just like, next.
Kind of like as he's in flight or some shit.
Well, he's not flying in. He's literally just, he sees them
all
there.
three actions would happen at the same time. Do you wait to stop and shoot at him, or because I just flung him from across the room?
He would have flung across the room and shot him. Well, I guess yes, it would have been in mid-flight then.
All right.
Malik will just shoot the guy in front of him.
Difficulty set.
This is why you always have a wiggle finger in the party.
And
Jesus Christ.
He's short range, so he's got whatever that thing is that gives me +1 damage. So this would be 3 damage, 14 damage plus a triumph plus 2 advantages.
14 damage plus triumph, and what do you want to do with the triumph? If I could actually find his first order army officer. Okay, going over into my list. First order. There we go.
Can I disable him from moving?
I'm pretty sure you can. You can. Let me look.
I have that little cheat sheet you can look at.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. What is that? Oh, okay. Advantage and threats, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's
Let's see. 1 triumph. Target is disabled instead of suffering wounds or strain.
Now look at the item qualities. I think because disabled might mean something different, but I mean, disabled should be disabled. Yeah, I mean, disabled is disabled actually. Never mind.
I would just say, they can't act the next round.
Okay. That's fine.
Gotta have some battle music. What are you doing?
Yeah,
I didn't really set up a
actually,
lot of music on this one.
Jamil kind of looks at his weapon like he was betrayed. He's like, that was on the stun setting.
He's not used to putting it to stun, so he did it incorrectly.
Yeah.
He's like, I've never done that
Not
before.
completely over.
Yeah.
How many damage did you say then? 13?
That was 14 damage.
13 minus 2 minus 12.
Turns out Mandalorian weapons don't actually have a stun setting.
Yeah.
12.
It's just kill and more kill.
So this guy in front of Malik is
There's
just...
2 skulls on this?
Good, Jared.
Yeah, just knocked backwards and cowls and like bloodied up now. And he's covering his head. And Tess hasn't gone yet. White Fox is just firing and missing.
She's
Well,
the foxy lady.
Tess left her blaster back on the ship, so I guess she could move.
Saber a bitch.
Yep.
This is where we find out that Tess is a secret badass.
Yeah, you need to keep along with the Triumph thing going on.
Don't kill him. Well, if you actually need a saber, if you need a substitute for not killing him, I could give you my ancient sword. If you didn't want to kill him.
I mean, why not?
This is Force Order. I don't care. As long as it's not a Chani.
Actually, Tess will activate the Kimberstone side of her lightsaber and stun damage.
Oh.
Let's see.
Nice, nice.
I'm guessing that still has breach quality, huh? Even stunned.
I'm pretty
You know?
sure it does.
Well, it doesn't matter because there's no soak. So, what's that? So, 10.
Just 9, 7. Yeah, 9.
So you come
Yes.
after him, and he's immobilized as well. He passes out.
So do we have R4 with us?
I think he's back at the ship or something.
Okay.
So it's good you killed that one because I pre-rolled initiatives on he was 41. So all right, you
Okay.
guys all want to roll initiative?
This guy's disabled, right? He can't even act this turn.
He can't act this
I
turn.
mean, we're just gonna murder him.
Yeah.
Or subdue him if we want to talk to him.
Yeah, yeah, that would be what I would prefer to do.
I mean, do we need to roll initiative just for other reasons, maybe?
I would just go ahead and do it.
Okay.
I always fucking forget what the goddamn initiative button is.
Just keep going down. Cool or vigilance?
Oh,
Oh, I didn't even think about.
For you guys, probably cool since you're kind of going into this room.
All right, I'll re-roll.
I did not mean to have the force die in there. Sorry. Didn't do anything to the roll. It just apparently had force die in my pool.
Is that everybody?
I think that's us.
Somebody rolled twice.
You guys, me,
Jaminos.
because I rolled.
Get rid of the
vigilance
3-2.
before.
Got it? All right, so PC's up.
Whoever wants to go, I don't care.
Well, I acted last, so somebody else go.
You could act
I'm
first
just
again.
gonna hold
Smack
my-
this guy on the ground. You get a blue for smacking him on the ground. Just go again. Show off your lightsaber badassness. This is a
kill
part
this
of
guy?
this I haven't seen.
As a GM, guys, like I will say that as a Jedi, you cannot kill somebody. You can probably disable.
Well, he has a thing. His crystal actually has a stun setting, or
Right.
is stun. It does stun damage instead of regular damage.
Yeah.
It's how they basically practice.
All right, so hop over there and stun this guy.
Oh God, fucking Tess! Holy shit. Oh wait, that's a blaster pistol.
Oh, sorry.
You shot him. Oh, you don't have it with you. Whatever.
Well, you can pick up one of theirs.
So how many would that be?
It's 8 stun damage.
8 damage.
8. So he drops to a knee. He drops to a knee, but is not unconscious.
Tess flourishes her saber, points it at him, says, "Yield."
All right.
Whoever wants to go, I don't care.
I'm not gonna go. Jamilos is gonna point his gun at the door or any doorways that lead into this place, kind of expecting the worst.
Yeah, I think. Europa is really not good with computers. I think she just like runs past this dude to here and starts tapping away at the computer to make as much sense of it as she can. We'll take strain to do so because that was medium range.
All right. And see here. You want to use computers?
Sure, but I mean,
Or you just RP wise, you don't want to try it.
I don't really want to try it myself. I mean,
bad things can happen too. All right, she goes over there and she finds out the terminal is secure. She doesn't know the password. And he skips his turn. And so next PC's up.
Yeah, Europa just kind of pipes up and says, terminals are locked down. I need somebody over here to stat.
Well, I have no skills at that whatsoever, so...
Where the fuck is R4 when we need him?
Can anybody do coercion on this Imperial officer to kind of convince him to do it for us?
Oh, yeah, I can. Totally can. Is that something we can do, Bo?
Yeah.
So Malik, drag him over there by the scruff and give her a boost.
Can I do that? I will do it.
Yeah.
So Malik runs in and grabs this guy by his hair and drags him kind of like a cave woman over this way.
Yeah, give yourself. So you reach down and are dragging this guy. You give yourself a couple strain.
Okay.
And let me see what his will is. Okay. You want to do a coercion check, and I'll tell you when your difficulty is set.
Just let me know, boss man.
It is set. Right.
Nice.
So you tell this guy, like, give me access to the computers, and he goes ahead and says, I can get you into the system. I can get you into the system. Please just don't shoot me. Don't shoot me.
Yeah, I mean, Europa's got his like head pressed up against like the heated like electricity vents as he's like getting ready to type it, and he's like, "Do it."
All right, so he gives you access to the system. You're actually into it now. This time is continuing to move, and Tess, you're up. Or who hasn't gone yet?
Jaminos.
Yeah, I don't really know what to provide in this particular challenge. There's not a whole lot I can do.
I just move forward and make sure nobody's coming at us.
All right, so which one of these is a doorway? Is it right here?
This one is, and this one is.
Okay. Let's see. He's going to take cover behind this panel here if I can, or at least improvise cover. And he's just going to keep his eyes on the doors and basically have his gun trained on them.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right, so at this point, this door here opens.
I'll immediately fire as soon as I see a silhouette.
I gotta roll this guy's initiative and see, because you still would have an action left. So he's going to go. Let's see where he will go in the order. He'll go right here. I'm just going to say this guy, I'm going to say the other guy's subdued, okay? He's not acting anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking him off the initiative. Okay, so Jaminos is gone. Oh, Jaminos, you want to shoot him?
Yes.
Fire away.
One second.
What's the damage?
That's
The damage.
14.
14.
16 damage.
I don't think I. Yeah.
16 damage.
Yeah, with a critical.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with the crit?
1 second. Let me look at the crit chart. See what I can do. I think I'll just roll on the critical table and see what it gets me.
All right.
So roll a D100. Or wait, no, I can roll critical on here, can't I?
That'll crit yourself.
That's not for you.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Jared should roll it on his side, basically.
Well, and I get I get plus 10 on the critical injury chart because one of my feats allows me to do
Got
that.
Ooh. Limb
That's a nice
crippled
one.
until healed or replaced.
It's the Skywalker wound.
Of all checks that use that limb by 1.
That's the Skywalker. That one's called the Skywalker.
So you blow his right arm off.
Yeah.
His gun goes scattering across the floor, and he falls to the floor, screaming in agony. And at this point, I'm going to do this again.
Hey guys, I got the cuff yoke out of my arm.
Triumph means you go first.
Is that what that means in the...
Pretty much. And the way it works is that a triumph will give you 10, technically, a 10 total, so it'd be 101, right? That one would be 101 or 110.
Yeah.
This guy is fucking vigilant.
So, as that guy kind of falls into this door here, that door kind of starts to try to close, and it's just like an elevator door, on a body, just ching, ching, ching. But at that point, you hear somebody from inside yell, some mortars, somebody from inside that room, and you hear mechanical sound as all around you, these turrets pop up.
Not good.
Who hasn't gone?
We just started a new round, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me put these guys in order here. So 10, 30. These things actually rolled really well when I pre-rolled them. All right. Two of these turrets are up. All right. As these things pop out of the ground, the first thing you notice is like one of them is right behind White Fox and just obliterates her. And she is killed in front of Tess. And you guys realize that these are nothing to mess with. The next one, who is at the computer?
Tess gasps as Fox is blasted by this thing. Yells, "Look out, everybody!"
Europa is the one at the computer terminal, so one of them just goes around.
This isn't gonna be good.
Go take a shot at her. Short range.
Short range. I will give it a downgrade on its attack for dodge.
Downgrade.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Sentry gun.
Damn.
So that is 9, 14 damage.
Yep.
With soak, I'm looking at 6, 7 off of that. That makes it 7. I take 7
Yep.
damage. Yeah, ow. But like a champ, Europa just you hear like her like kind of cry out as like she gets peppered with blaster fire in the back.
PC's up.
Oh, fucking A. Fucking someone destroy that turret that's gonna go next.
Yeah.
This is
I'll
the one
shoot.
that's next.
Yeah, I'll shoot him then. So I'll do. Bear with me. I'll do true aim. So I get a blue die and then or a boost, and I also get an upgrade.
This is where he's gonna just fucking annihilate this thing.
All right, difficulty set.
And I got my boost, and
Are you kind of like in cover? Are you
yeah.
gonna use a maneuver to take?
No. I'm using maneuver to use true aim. Which
Okay,
gives
because you can do another one to take cover, just to take a couple strain.
How many strain? 2?
2. It takes 2 to do another maneuver if you can. Some races can't.
I'll do it. Yeah. So I get into cover, then I use true aim, gives me a boost and an upgrade.
All right, difficulty set.
All right. And he's in short range.
Mm-hmm.
So I get point blank shot, so that's 14 damage, a critical, and 2 triumphs.
God damn!
Yo. So 14 damage.
Yeah.
Let's do that first, okay?
And then,
So-
yeah, so critical. I'll just go ahead and crit.
What's their critical plus, right? If you're doing multiple criticals, it would be onto 1, right? It would be like a plus whatever.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm doing. You talking about like with my
I might just have
triumphs?
you disable this turret because a lot of these criticals aren't going to really apply, you know.
Yeah. Well, let me see. I might just do. If that's the case. With 3, I can do target is disabled. I mean, well, hold on. Let's see. With 3 of those.
I'm just gonna say blow it up, man.
Okay, that's fine. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Destroy a piece of equipment carried by the target, aka its blaster. Its cannon. I can do that twice, so.
He blew that up, and
he shoots straight down the cannon hole.
all right. Next PC's up.
I'll go if you guys don't mind.
Go for it.
I see all these turrets pop up and notice one behind me, so I'm gonna backpedal a little bit over to this chair, seeing as he just kind of exploded one. And I'm gonna do something I've never done before. Let me know on my difficulty set.
I don't know what you're trying to do.
I'm gonna shoot at it.
Oh.
It's the special kind of shoot, so bear with me.
Okay.
Shoots like a
Alright.
gangsta.
You're set.
Horizontal.
So no, Jamino's just drops his rifle, pulls up his wrist, and fires a rocket off of his new fancy gauntlet.
Nice.
Rocket fist.
18 damage.
Holy crap.
It's 13 plus the 5 for my deadly accuracy, and it's got breach 1.
And you complained about this disruptor rifle?
Yeah, I should
It's the one shot.
It's just one thing, yeah. Just use it once, right?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of missiles, but I only have one of each.
You should have saved that for the big baddie. Send one up Snoke's butt.
Well, I can get more when I get to the ship. It's not a big deal. It's just I can only
How
carry
many
one at a
damage
time.
is that, man? 18?
It's at least 21.
21. Yeah.
Yeah. that
Plus
one's
whatever,
done.
plus whatever he's got, whatever else.
That one's gone. He backs up. He takes that one out. What, we have 2 more PCs to go before it's back at the top?
Yep.
So Tess jumps at this one, hacks at the barrel with her lightsaber.
You're gonna attempt to sunder? Oh yeah.
And as she's hopping over there, we'll use quick draw and switch from the non-damaging crystal to the damaging crystal.
Nice.
So that's 10.
And like River said, we'll use some of the advantage to sunder. And I'd have to look up and see exactly how that works.
You spend 2 advantage to sunder once, and you need to do it again. Spend more advantage to basically. Once will impair it once, and the next one will give it a -1 dice to shoot at things, and then another time we'll give it -2, and then the next one is broken. It's completely broken. So you could do it 3 times, get it -2 dice to shoot.
Okay. Okay, sounds good to me.
And
all in
it's,
all, you do.
10 damage as well.
Right.
Yeah, it's 10 damage and -2 dice, effectively, from the rest of this combat until it gets repaired.
All right. Next one's up. I think it's your turn, Europa, right?
Yeah. Any turrets left alive?
This one and this one, but this one's going to have a negative to hit, so.
Yeah, she's gonna move over here and smack.
Difficulty set.
No, I'm using my lightsaber for this, but it's not actually the damage for the lightsaber. I'll tell you what the damage is for the sword in a second. It's the same stat for the ancient sword, so it is +4, brawn +4, so that's 4 + 8. That's 8 damage base plus the 5, 13 critical and a triumph.
13 damage.
It has Pierce 5.
All right.
It doesn't have breach.
6 of them. So how much damage you said then?
13 Pierce 5.
13 Pierce 5, so it's going to take 12. Which means it has 3 left.
And with the advantage, I am going to I'm just going to disable it. How about that? Just to make it faster. Just going to use my triumph to disable it, and that'd be good. Be good for me.
All right. So this guy in this control room, he's actually from out of that door. You see this guy's leg is just being drug in, and then the door is able to shut all the way.
You know what I should have done? You know what? I don't even need that. I have force. Anyway,
So this next one is disabled, and then this one is going to have a -2 penalty to any shots, right?
-2 dice. So like it would degrade. So if it had 2 yellows, it would go down to 2 greens.
Right. Let's see.
Or make it a like 3 purple. Depends upon how you want to make it, right?
Yep. So
even more if it's in firing at tests, it would be like something like 5 or 6 purples.
Malik's right in front of it. Tess is kind of too close, so it's going to go ahead and take a shot at him.
Okay.
So it's going to be downgraded twice.
Tess sees it lining up and shouts a warning.
Doug Malik. What? You.
Where?
Yeah.
So 11 damage.
It shouldn't die, Malik.
Soak of 7, so I take 4.
Yep. Give yourself 4.
Okay.
And it's going to, if he attacks again, he's going to give himself a setback, or if attack against it will get a boost. All right, PC.
Test destroy that thing.
I guess that's me. Or you can do test, whoever.
Yeah, just have
Can we just
test
roll
destroy.
both of our attacks at the same time, just to speed this up?
Yeah, I can say we can call this a day.
Oh, no.
No, we can because I mean they're not going to be able to act again until all 4 of you guys have gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we could, like it'll be what one of us going, and both of those turrets are basically dead.
Right. So you guys want to roll your attacks?
Sure. Jam, if you want to kill the one that I'm at, I'm gonna spend my turn getting this door
That's
open.
fine.
So Tess whips out her lightsaber again. Jams it in this one, and it starts to spark. Explodes. Tess bounds away from it.
Averting her eyes.
Oh, they were targeting different ones. Bo.
Yeah. Jan, this one's going to
Yeah, I was going to this one.
Yep, that one's too.
Actually, when Tess leaps away, she leaps this way.
Yep. On her left side, Europa can feel the explosion nearby as this one is destroyed.
Yeah, Europa is actually going to do a force power.
To get this door open.
Yeah, I'm going to use... let me just go to her page and roll this. Okay, with that, it's going to be 2 strength dice, so a silhouette of 2. Is that going to be enough?
To get through that door. Yeah.
So basically what this guy sees is Europa will wait for somebody with a gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
But basically what happens is that, you know, she like starts to pull it apart with her fists, and like you can see the door just being pulled apart even though the pistons are still working, right?
Yeah.
Look of anger, if you could ever imagine one. The music's very hyping this up.
You step over the bloody and disabled guy on the floor, and there's an officer at the computer terminal there. He stands up and tries to fire at you, and his gun goes flying into your hand. I would be honored if you would join us.
Mandalore, kill this scum.
Without even just waiting, just starts plugging away at him. They may beg for mercy, he doesn't care.
Get the door open, get the door open, get the door open, let's go. They know we're here.
Is there what is in there? Is it a computer terminal?
Yep. You guys blow them all away. And end combat at this point.
Yeah, let's do some computer shit.
I don't know who the best one is.
Who has training in computers at all?
You.
I don't think anybody.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, if anybody even has a dot in it, then it could be one person. I doubt any of us actually have it. Do we still have our officer, dude?
This guy is yes. Yes, he's around.
Can we impromptu make him do it?
Yeah, you can torture him or coerce him into doing whatever, and I will substitute that for your computer skill.
All right, so this is what Europa does. She goes over to the guy. Notice she hasn't pulled out a lightsaber this whole time. She's still got this like old Sith-looking blade, the ancient sword, and she like holsters it on her back, and she like grabs this grabs this guy's like arm, his hand, and like wrenches it back, and like she isolates his hand from his wrist to like grab just above his wrist, and she takes his wrist and like twists it in like 180 degrees almost, just about. And she's like reaching him around the table and getting him, like, if he needs a fingerprint scan or something, he's like, get these doors open before I make this a lot worse on you.
All right, it's going to be coerce versus his discipline. And I'm going to give you a boost.
Yeah, Malik goes over and puts the barrel of his gun to the back of his head.
2 boosts.
Oh, yeah. Tess, distract him with your tits.
Yeah.
Get your cans out.
2 boosts.
Give me another blue.
All right, it's ready to go.
I'm just kidding, yeah. Disregard the white dice.
Yep. So the guy's like, hears his wrist start to crack, and he's like, all right. And there's blood all over the keyboard as he starts to type away. And he's like, yeah, I got you into the system. What do you want me to do?
Fuck, I don't know. We need to get... We're not on, like, the proper level, are we?
Probably not.
Yeah, Malik's
Yes.
like, locate the queen and turn off all security on the way there.
He's like, absolutely. And you realize that going through either of the doors will lead to some turbolifts. You could take that right up to the throne room. There's also a lot of other information you could go for.
Anything that would be
through the
helpful,
computer systems.
actually.
Yep. There's like a bunch of like alerts up on the computer, and you kind of scroll down through them and see a bunch of like, stuff from like a staff mailing list or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Can you isolate anything for like addressing the queen or anything that's happening on site recently, or?
So, yeah. I'll filter. I have some stuff written. Let's just do your scrolling down. Do like a perception or vigilance or something like that to like notice the information you're looking for. Difficulty.
Anybody else want to help?
I'll give you a boost.
Sweet. I mean, my vigilance isn't the best. Let's put it that way. But
2 pairs of eyes are better than 1. So Jamanos goes over and is looking over your shoulder as you're working on this computer.
so does Malik. But I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah. Success. So you immediately stop and you see a string of emails, or at least not emails, but communications.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to paste them into chat here.
Well, every staff mailing list I've ever been on, spam and puppies for adoption.
Begin lockdown. Queen Terex, per our agreement, please initiate planetary lockdown procedures. Furthermore, the internment camps we have built outside of this facility should become operational. The Supreme Leader has further plans, but we are keeping it on a need-to-know basis. I look forward to seeing you soon. Confidential. It's the first one. Subject, security breach. Security personnel. Last week's security breach highlighted a glaring weakness in our electronic defenses. This palace was built to be state-of-the-art, not vulnerable to some 2-bit slicer. You need to find the attached file going over the exploit and how it works. Fix it. Have a nice day.
At least she's nice about it.
I'm gonna need those TPS reports on my desk tomorrow morning.
I need you to come in on Sat.
Subject, meet. Queen Terex, it's come to our attention that your house guest's pet has eaten nearly every source of protein in the palace. We're down to nuts and some sort of lentil that I can't pronounce the name of. If that monstrosity isn't going to curb his appetite, he needs to start bringing his own fauna for dinner. Best, Harvey Shortrib, chef and head of house services. And the last one.
This can't end well. It didn't end well.
Subject, Harvey Shortrib, Queen Terex. Harvey is taken care of. I used him as said source of protein. He was certainly well marbled by his core.
Do I recognize that name? I don't know.
And he opens all the doors up.
Yeah, well, Europa just smashes his head into the terminal and doesn't kill him, just, blunt force to solid object equals pass out.
All right, I guess you are going to run towards one of these turbo lifts.
Yeah, Europa is running to this one, and she's
Everybody
probably
move your token to the left so I can cut and paste.
Anybody got a stim pack? It'd be real fucking handy.
I do.
Stab me in the ass.
Malik stabs Europa in the ass with not a stim pack.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
You thought it was a stim pack.
Elevator music.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, God.
I hate Brenda, and a bad guy hit me.
Just like that, a million red flags on this video.
All right, just give me a second. I gotta take a leak.
Wait till you guys
Intermission.
see what
Intermission. Isn't there a scene like on Deadpool where he's like in an elevator going up?
Flock of
The music.
seagulls.
Yeah.
You guys missed it. It's too bad.
All right, be back in 2 minutes.
Now we get to all listen to MP.
Yep. This is kind of good intermission music.
It's the Wii Shop music.
Yeah, it is. It's been a long time since I've heard that.
I haven't played a Wii in probably close to a decade.
Wii bowling was the shit.
Dude, Wii Bowling was the shit. What the fuck?
I
Get
was
high
a
as fuck
badass
and
on
play that
Wii
game.
bowling.
Dude,
I can either
roll
confirm
some
or deny,
roaches,
please.
play some fucking Wii Bowling. That's what it was, man. I was in high school at the time.
We used to bring multiple Ws into the office and set up lanes in this big training room and have bowling tournaments.
Nice.
And what's even funnier is the guy who was director of IT at the time had actually worked in a bowling alley as a young man, and so he had all the crap that they do over the speakers all the time. He could do that perfect, and so the whole thing was just hilarious.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't think I've really ever even played anything else in the Wii. I mean, I did, but I was like,
I played the tennis game.
Yeah,
I played that Star Wars game a long time ago. The one where you could dance and all that other stupid shit.
Just Dance.
Dance Revolution.
No, maybe it wasn't for Wii. I think that was for Xbox. I played it on, but that Star Wars game that was meant to be like it had like you could do lightsaber training, or you could do like make Han Solo dance, and you danced with them with your moves and shit. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Did you already paste
I'm
them
trying to
over?
remember if I played it.
Yeah, I already paced.
Oh, Smash Brothers. I played a lot of Smash Brothers on Wii.
There was one good Zelda game, I remember.
In my opinion, there's no good Zelda games. I've always hated them.
Oh, the original.
Yeah, why you gotta be a hater?
Yeah, man, the original was awesome. So exiting the top of the turbo lift, you immediately breathe in fresh air. High above, perhaps there's a skylight, or maybe it's the fountain in front of you. Water is bubbling, soothing. However, it doesn't mask what's in front of you. A monstrous-looking droid, caped and menacing, ignites a crimson lightsaber. Then a voice breaks in. Looking to either side of the droid, you see these large monitors. So like the walls have these giant monitors on them, you can see. The voice began. It is human, yet has a mechanical quality to it. So, it says, my brother has finally come to this place. He has come after all these years now with his friends. After all the pain, torture, and growth I've undergone. Now is the time, no? They're snarling. Do you even know me, Jamanos? Yes, you must, because I know you. Every day, every night, the family who cast me out. But now, there's a hint of madness in his voice, more powerful than you can imagine. Prepare to meet your doom, Mandalore.
Jaminos just immediately stands shocked. Brother, I heard you were dead.
He says, I'm not dead. You hear me speaking, don't you? But there are fates worse than death, Jamanos. And that's what you and father and mother abandoned me to.
And he's like, I haven't abandoned you. Come, join us. We can still save this galaxy. Save our people. You can be with us.
And there's a little bit of a hesitation on the screen, and you see him, this kind of almost mechanical visage, kind of shudder with anger. And he says, do you see this machine arrayed before you? I created this. And he says, you have no clue what you're up against. There will be no victory. So if you really want to try to convince him, we'll need some sort of roll. I don't know what it would be.
You might have... Okay, I'm not a social guy, but I'm going to try to play off of the leadership roll off of this. And my reasoning behind it is somewhere ingrained in him is years of being trained to obey the Mandalore and you know, trust his guidance at all times. And there hasn't been one in a long time because we've had kind of a string of unreliable Mandalores. And I'm going to try to sway him by trying to believe in me, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. So what do you say to him?
And he stands forward from the rest of the group. Look at me, brother. I am Mandalore the Resurgent. I was going to lead our people into greatness, destroy the First Order, take what belongs to us. That is what we are as Mandalorians. We shouldn't be hiding on a planet, but taking what belongs to us. I believe you could join us and become so much more than a puppet of the First Order. They're a bunch of cowards who have to use archaic means to win. You could be so much more as just a Mandalorian. Let me know when my difficulty is set. And I remove 1 black dice from all my leadership checks.
Oh, nice. You have a setback. That was a pretty good speech, too. I think it's good. So boost.
That's about all I got.
I'm not going to do the setback. I actually had that written down, so I'm not going to do a setback. And let me see. Too many characters.
Yeah, I suggest
I would
going through
archive the shit out of
shit
your
you don't
gallery.
need anymore and getting rid of it. After this game, obviously.
Yeah. I'm a pack rat. Okay. This makes sense, actually. I will tell you when it's set, okay?
Yes, sir.
And before that happens, the door opens and he kind of steps out. You can kind of see him around the edge of this fountain. This door is open.
I believe this is Cerberus. I think that's what I called him.
Severos. All right.
Mama knows.
Not quite. Little brother knows.
Mama knows.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Oh, nice. Do you want to be in charge of the music? Rivers.
Sure. I have no idea what any of this shit is, but we'll find out.
Fine. So let me see what happens. So you have a brother. So as your brother Severos emerges, he's has a big cloak around him. Anger comes before him like a billowing cloud. You're not even force sensitive, and you can kind of feel it. And he looks to his
kind of
left.
a family trait.
He looks to his left and gives his little minion a head nod. And you guys can see, if you go up around the corner, you can see if there's like a group of stormtroopers there, and he just cuts them down. And Severos turns to his right, beckons with his hand, and like 3 stormtroopers go flying through the air and smash into this fountain and begin to drown. He holds his hands over these stormtroopers as they struggle in the water and eventually go still. Severos turns to his brother, says, "Long lost brother, do not disappoint me. I'm impressed by your fierceness. Now let's finish this."
And he just offers an arm to him and kind of claps his forearm in, traditional warrior style. To the end, brother.
So there's a screen wipe again. Now the camera pans down to the bridge of a Star Destroyer. Standing like an immovable statue is Leia. Traitor, mother, servant of the First Order. An officer approaches her. "We will reach Eshan in 5 minutes, my lady." "Very well," says Leia. Exit hyperspace on my mark. Then there's another screen wipe. Aboard a different capital vessel, the swirling blue hyperspace around him, you see the diminutive figure of Kirix Tib. He's kneeling, deep in thought, looking at one of the holocrons that have recently been recovered. He shuts his eyes, hoping that he has made the right decision. And you guys gonna head into the throne room?
Yeah, we Europa's just running. I mean, if she's not going to get any resistance from these creepy ass droids, she's going.
They're with you now. Yeah,
Yeah.
just the one of them. And you guys have Severon with you, and now you have Severos, and now you have this creepy droid. After many trials and tribulations, the heroes emerge. Swish, clank, the turbolift stops. Before them, the throne room. Before them, on the right, is a menacing creature, over 7 feet tall, with a jaw like permacrete and eyes like burning embers. To the left is a being clad in crimson. About her is an aureole green in shadow. And further ahead, Queen Terix herself. "You are a most worthy daughter, Europa," she says, standing up from her throne. "Always my jewel, the prize that I lost." She smiles faintly, then casts a glance behind her. "Oh, that? Yes, nearly forgot. I had a window built into the new palace as well. Not stained glass, though." She lowers her voice. "Now, Europa, you have dawdled. It's time to return to your family and cast off these chains." She motions to Europa's friends and allies. "Do it. Join us, and under the Supreme Leader, we'll be free to roam across the stars. We will engage in battle, find peace in conflict. What say you?" Although as she's speaking and she sees Severos and the others kind of with them, she's very taken aback. You can see surprise in her eyes.
Yeah, I think
Jimenez just stands next to his brother.
Europa at this point just kind of like the anger is palpable. It's like there's like a whole bunch of like it's almost not, it's not visible, but those of you who are force sensitive probably even see it, like the channels of just her just going crazy inside of her own like spirit, if you will. And she sees who's in the throne room, right? All those people are in the throne room, right?
Yeah.
You gave me away to them, and here you are working with them. And she just like points a big finger at the big guy, and it's like, you expect me to turn my back on those who helped me out of everything?
She says, family first, my dear. I've simply arrayed myself with the most powerful side in this conflict.
You burn and enslave your own people. You sold your own daughter. And it's like with that Europa just kind of like chunks the sword down into the like stonework beneath her feet, and that metal bar that she was holding onto earlier ignites, and both of her sabers go, and she will roll a discipline check to see which way she will go. So set me a difficulty, my dude.
All right.
Hopefully this doesn't fail.
Trying to see. I don't know if I statted her out or not.
Are there any like are there any
So what are you trying to roll against your discipline of whether she convinces you or not?
Yeah, she's not doing any force powers or like force convince
no.
or.
And you have like a near army behind you at this point. And these, in all honesty, you know that if it came down to a battle, like it would be a slaughter. You'd take all these people out. So I'll give you a boost. Okay. 3 purples and a boost die.
Ooh, almost failed. So like you see some like deliberation in Europa as she like grips tight to her twin sabers, and she like stares across the room at this big huge guy. And she just like starts slowly walking towards him. He's obviously like 6 foot, or no, like almost 8 foot.
Yeah,
and and she's like diminutive in size. Europa's only just a little bit above 5 foot. And she just says, "Don't kill the Achani. Kill the thing in the back of the room. Leave this one to me, and no one touches my mother."
What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I mean, Europa's about to go like single-handedly fight all these people.
I think everybody else is asleep.
You know what? No, actually, Europa just says she didn't really say anything to you all after that. She just walks forward and she looks back at you and she says, "This isn't your fight. Watch."
I don't know that Malik would do that, so he like has his rifle obviously up with the butt of it on his shoulder, and he's just kind of slowly walking forward.
Right. Tess has her saber out and is likewise advancing.
We can just RP it if you want.
I mean, Europa
Yeah.
is. I mean, this is. I don't know. Like, she says to stay back, and she will like look at you with like pretty fierce eyes. She stops in the middle of the room in front of you and says, "I have scores to settle."
Malik stops but continues to aim at people, things.
You, me, Mom, and that beast too. I'll take you all on if I have to. You don't deserve this planet. You don't deserve our people.
So with
Jaminos
this,
sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Jaminos aims, and I'm just going to kind of briefly take control over Severos, but they both get ready to advance, and then Europa says that, and Jaminos just stops in his tracks, and out of it he's like, Europa, do you declare a challenge out of this according to our customs?
No one here has to fight. Mother, I'm challenging you to rule over our people.
And the matron or whatever, the matron or whoever her name is like, Queen Terex, finish your daughter now. This is not part of the agreement. And Terex at this point.
Who said that?
This red lady here.
Okay.
And as the queen kind of descends the throne and walks a little bit closer towards the daughter, she gets closer and closer and looks at her. And she says, my. She says, you certainly have turned into something, haven't you?
You are going to sick your dog on me?
He says, it would be like sicking a it would be like sending a puppy after a Nexu. I know he wouldn't last long against you, Europa. And she has this cold, calculating look in her eyes, and she looks at Severos and Jaminos and Malik and Tess and says, you came all the way to this world, infiltrated the palace, and have come here. I've always said I would pick the winning side. And as she talks, like, she looks unnaturally old. Like, she looks way more aged than you would expect for how old she is. I mean, and the matron in the back just looks like visibly more worried, and starts to kind of come forward and says, starts to interfere in matters, trying to persuade the mom.
Yeah, as soon as the lady comes back, this is for you guys. This is the chick that basically like made me a night sister, right? That's a night sister matron. Like, Europa will like force power that bitch away, like as hard as I can, to the back of the room. Do I even need to roll?
No.
Well, she's supposed to be really talented in the force too, so.
Yeah, but this is Star Wars.
Like, I just send her flying to the back of the room, and
she cracks against one of these posts, and the queen is almost kind of visibly shaken, like she's emerging from some spell or something like that. And at that point, Bezor charges at Europa and takes a swing at her.
Okay, all right. Smack a bitch up. Big Azor, is that his name?
Big Zor.
Big as sword.
Is
he a Pokemon?
His name was Big Zor Horsecock.
Reminds me of, is it Osman? Is it Osman?
Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me?
Big sore horsecock makes his attack.
I want to see his name pop up when you roll.
Yeah, please have his name be that.
Just change his name really quickly, just so they believe it. His name's
Well, see, now
Bezcor.
now you ruined the illusion.
We're getting all into it, and fucking big sore horsecock.
All right, let me set your difficulty here.
Well, he's attacking me, isn't he?
Yeah, he's attacking you, so it's going to be like just what, 1 purple?
Yeah, 1 purple.
What's your defense, though? You have melee defense.
3. And we'll step it down with a dodge, or downgrade his attack with a dodge. So 1.
All right.
This guy's got to have a cool weapon. So what does he do with all that advantage?
So he misses you. But he... Let's see here. What's he have? 4 advantage?
Yeah, he has 4.
So if I negate target's defensive bonuses until end of round, would that be around the next round, my turn?
It would be until I act.
That wouldn't help.
But you could have her act at the same time. I don't care. Go right ahead. Like I don't need initiative for this. Trust me. I'll be fine if you want to have her hit me. She's gonna hit hard because she has a electro staff, which are fucking good. But that's okay. I have parry, so it's all right.
So I'll just give myself a bonus to my next attack,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to, for your attack, I'll give you a setback.
Okay. All right. You're also removing my defensive bonuses.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. You can have her go next. Actually, I'd like that thematically.
Who's going next? You, Europa?
No, have her go next. That'd be fine.
Who's her?
Mama.
She's not attacking. She's watching you guys.
Oh, dude, it's no fun if they both don't attack me. They're going to lose real fast if they don't. Dude, just do it. Just do it.
She's not, though.
I wanted to like one up them. All right. And I get to do my like 4 hits in 1 swing.
You can still do it.
Can I just actually not attack and make a skill check?
Yes.
I'm going to coerce my mother into attacking me.
Okay.
Let me know when difficulty set.
Let me find them. Discipline. 2 reds and a purple. Oops. All right, difficulty set.
Okay, what are you going to do with all that threat?
Honestly, she doesn't want to attack you because she's trying to decide what has happened to her mind. She's kind of...
I want her to attack me.
Some sort of spell.
Yeah, but you want her to attack you, but for the wrong reasons. It seems like you just want to fight her, whereas thematically, she's obviously
she's
not
trying to
herself.
decide what has happened to her mind. She's like starting to come to.
Yeah, well, you let me know what that does, but the coercion should do something. I want her to attack me. I'm trying to provoke her.
I think she just takes a step back. I mean, I don't know how you coerce somebody to attack you.
I mean, it's provocation, or a provoking act. I mean, that's what the skill is literally like for. But
If you're trying to, I mean, if you're her daughter, and she's realized like what's gone on in your entire life.
yeah, I mean, I see the point, but I mean that's what the skill is. But
Yeah.
if you just have her step back, that's fine. I don't care.
She gets ready to attack you as something snaps in her mind, and raises her staff up over her head and then hesitates.
Okay, it's his turn.
So he's going to go again. So boost. Then you have no defenses.
Nope. Uh, 8 of that will get parried back.
All right, so 7, 11. So you take 3.
A will also take 7 damage with Pierce. No, not Pierce, but basically I get to do damage to him. Oh wait, no, he's got. That's not threat. That's advantage. Yeah, no, it's still 8 of it still getting parried back.
So 8 gets parried back. So you take 3. I don't know what your soak is.
7.
So you take nothing.
What are you gonna do with the advantage and threat, or advantage and triumph?
With a triumph, I'll crit you.
Can you crit me on doing no damage though?
I know. I think you have to do damage to crit.
I mean,
Okay.
some of those criticals are like lose a limb. How would I lose a limb on no damage?
No, I think you do have to do damage in order to crit. It doesn't make sense not to.
It'd be pretty funny if I did lose an arm for no reason. It falls off.
So just do
Damn shoddy workmanship.
a setback to your next check.
You can knock me prone or do some crazy shit.
You could be just stunned.
Target drops weapon they're wielding. Now I'll just knock you prone. That's fine. So you're knocked prone.
Sweet. Well, now he gets like another blue.
All right, your turn again.
I'll end this. Okay, so I'm going to link this one. That's just for me letting you know, Jared.
All right.
That is going to be 2 hits of 9 with Pierce. Actually, it's 9 damage and then 7 damage. If you want to get
9,
technical.
7, 16.
Well, not Pierce, but Breach. Breach.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she whips out her lightsabers and comes at Beck's door, Horsecock. Purple lightsaber staff flashing. He tries to parry it with his vibro staff. Misses it. Takes several wounds. Is brought down to a kneeling position right in front of her.
Yeah, she doesn't get off the ground, by the way. She did all this from fighting on her back. And with the advantage, I'm going to spend all 3 of it to perform a free maneuver.
Yes.
And I will force jump directly into the air from where I am.
So you're pretty high up in the air.
Yeah, so basically, like, I do like a back push off and fly into the air, and I'm like, it takes you fall a range band a turn, so I'll be short range by the time it comes to my turn again.
Okay. So it's base core. Bexor looks up as you leap up into the air, flying. His eyes go to the queen, who's like, Europa, stop this. Bexor then turns his blade on the queen. And from behind him, the matron's like, finish her. Kill all of them. So he goes and tries to attack her.
All right.
Probably not a smart move.
Thematically, I kind of want. Thematically, I want to try and save her like she saved my character's mom.
That'd be cool. Yeah, do it.
You're watching. Free action. Go for it.
Yeah.
So Bexor's running towards her, getting ready to impale her.
Holy shit.
Oh, I hit.
And right as he's about to take his pole arm and just run it up underneath her chin and impale her, he takes like several blaster shots. His chest explodes into a shower of red. One of them hits his forehead, and he falls onto his pole arm, and it clatters across the ground. And in the background, you hear the matron going, "No! My creation!"
And Jamila's just does that traditional Boba Fett style helmet head nod thing.
The queen says,
No.
Europa, forgive me all these many years. I know not what I've. And these the two her sisters or whatever kind of seem like they're kind of bewildered as well. And everybody just kind of starts and turns to look at the matron, just kind of like wondering how long they've been duped for.
Oh, dude. Speaking of, as Europa like flips through the air, she like lands by the matron who's walked forward, and I guess we can RP this. The matron's arms and legs, like Europa does like 3 swipes, right? It's like downward, like doing a spin, cuts off her left arm, and then like through both of her legs at like the hip joint, and then as she's falling down, it's up through the other arm. And they're cauterized instantly, so she doesn't really lose any blood.
She topples to the ground, hissing and screaming. And there's these tendrils of green that are just snaking along the ground, looking for somewhere to go. But then every time they get far away, they recoil back into the matron. She's like, kill me.
No, that'd be too easy. Not after what you put me through. And Europa just grabs like the top of her like head bun and starts dragging her towards where the perch is.
So you guys are down here underneath this window right now, and you have her by the hair. And she's limbless, and you have her beneath this window.
Gonna be taken to conflict.
Yeah, I mean, Europa's just got her like by her head, her hair, and she's like fuming in anger. And I think
You could probably force leap up there and carry her.
Oh yeah, dude, I was gonna do it by hair, but she's standing there with like the lady who's like, just kill me. She doesn't even address her mother. She's like, No, that'd be too easy for you. What I should do is stick this lightsaber underneath your chin and watch your brains boil out your nose.
She says, "You can kill me. You can do whatever you want. It still will never quench the hatred that's in your heart. So I can tell it's only a matter of time before you fall to the dark side of the Force."
Yeah, and with that, like, Europa looks down at her and she just, like, kind of, like, slams her up against the wall as, like, the inchworm that she is, and puts a boot on her throat, and she says, I am the dark side of the Force. And she's like, but no, I'm not gonna kill you. You're gonna suffer a very long and cold death.
She's like, what do you mean?
She's like, I know people who want very, very badly to see you once again, matron.
And what's the rest of the group doing?
Oh yeah, I mean, Europa is like full tilt evil right now. It's visible to everyone.
Jamino says Thursday, so he just kind of is inspecting her mother and disarming her of all weapons. And,
how's everybody else taking this? That's what I really want to know.
Right.
You can go ahead, Tess. I don't know.
Yeah, Tess will approach Europa and try and calm her down. Europa, we have to do what is right. You can't just give her over to our enemies.
Do you even know what she did to me?
I understand, and she should pay for it, but she should pay for it justly.
So I'm just supposed to hand her over to the New Republic?
Tess looks away and looks back at Europa.
If I don't...
We're fighting for something.
Yeah, I think Europa just picks up the lady with force move and, like, tosses her at the general, like, basically into the general, and is like, you will not want to let her get a hold of the situation again. She's much stronger in the Force than either you or I. But if I ever see her again, and she isn't behind bars, I can't promise you she won't die a very horrible death. I'm only doing this because you're a Skywalker.
As you guys are talking, Malik just kind of walks kind of like innocently kind of by, and he just takes his barrel of his gun, points it down at the matron, and just pulls the trigger.
Bam!
And after he does it, he's like, that's to keep you from doing something you shouldn't. Let the old man take care of it.
So as the life force drains out of the matron, you see this like green aura just come out of the eyes of the sisters and the queen, and all of them just kind of go down to their knees, and they're like bewildered. They don't know what's going on. It's very clear they'd been under some spell.
Yeah, Europa's just standing over her body, just staring like daggers into this fallen matron. Maybe we get a shot of like the matron, like soul or spirit, the like magics that make her like have all her crazy force powers like scream off like a siren in that in like one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, like the little ghost that goes shrieking off in the distance.
It shrieks out through the window or something.
Yeah.
And the queen says, she goes to Malik and says, "You killed her. Thank you."
And Malik just like shrugs. He's like, "Don't thank me. Thank your daughter. She never gave up on you. I expect. Not even when we were here."
Yeah, Europa hasn't even looked away from the witch's body. In the back of the room, of course.
Good time for a screen wipe.
Good time for a screen wipe.
And so it begins, the battle of our time. There's a screen wipe, and you see a massive Star Destroyer and fleet exit hyperspace. Below is the blue glowing orb of Ishan. The camera cuts to a draw, holding a holocron. His eyes are closed. The camera pans out to his left and right, slowly widening the camera angle. You see Ben Solo, determination and redemption on his face. You see Rey, clad in white and preparing for battle. You see Luke Skywalker. Very well, he says. Everything is proceeding according to plan. His tone is not overconfident or menacing. In fact, it's the quite opposite of the Emperor of old and of Supreme Leader Snoke. Another cut. The camera, and now you see this huge New Republic resistance fleet drop out of hyperspace near the First Order ships. Battle is joined.
The old bait and switch. The old razzle dazzle. That's what we just pulled.
He's just as bait.
All right. That's that one.
Good game.